Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Onward Education Podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me here today. Today, we're talking about keeping the end goal in mind. And I thought about this topic this week because I was working with a student and we were supposed to be doing a writing project. And the goal was to write the things that they liked about this book so that other kids in the class would be able to choose a book and maybe they would like it too. It was a book review, we'll say. And the student that I was working with said, I don't want to do this because I didn't like the book. So I thought for a second, I said, okay, so he doesn't want to do this activity. But then I said, you can just write the things that you didn't like. And he looked at me, he's like, but that's not the assignment. I said, but that's okay because you're gonna write the things that you didn't like. It's still a review for your friends. Maybe they won't like the same things. Maybe they won't read it now because you didn't like it. And he kind of looked baffled as if to say, what? I'm allowed to do the assignment my own way? Anyways, he went on to start the assignment, and funnily enough, a few minutes later, he said, actually, there were some things I liked about that book. And then he did the assignment based on the things that he liked. But I bring this up because I think this services a lot at home as well as at school, as parents and as teachers, that sometimes we forget what the end goal is. So for me in that situation, I needed to keep in mind that the end goal was not for him to do exactly what I'd asked him to do. The end goal was for him to write. And that was what he did. So the goal was achieved even though it wasn't really what I asked of him at the beginning. So at home, this might look like, for example, on a weekend, maybe you plan several activities for the family to do together, and maybe your child says, I don't want to do that. And while there's obviously give and take in a family and giving everyone turns to choose what they want to do, if we're keeping in mind the end goal, which presumably is to spend time together as a family, we may need to recognize that the path that we were going to choose to get there is not necessarily the path that is going to bring us the most joy to our family as a whole. So it's good to consider that both at school and at home. Keep the end goal in mind, and let's be a little more flexible about how we get there, and I promise you it'll reduce your stress levels.